Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Nick with GrowWorld.com. I just wrapped up at MJBizCon 2025 in Las Vegas, Nevada, and what you're about to watch is a 2026 Under-Canopy Lighting Buyers Guide. We heard from the top manufacturers in the game. We go over what makes them unique, some of their newest technology coming out that you'll hear here first, and some of their price points as well, so stay tuned. First question, what makes your Under-Canopy lights unique and different from the rest of the market?
Number one is going to be quality. We can control the different wavelengths and peaks in our lights. We have aluminum housed and glass lenses. We have some of the highest efficacy in Under-Canopy lighting. We are DLC listed. We are rebatable. Being able to pick your peaks of your spectrum to supplement your Under-Canopy with, that is going to be the most important thing. We're not feeding all of our plants the same irrigation strategies. Why are we feeding them all the same light?
So we design and manufacture all of our products in the U.S. We source, material and boards and LEDs and things from the East, but we have an approach that I think a lot of other companies don't have, which is we're really focused on the technology, the quality, and just the overall output of the fixture.
So if something goes wrong, you guys have a pretty quick supply chain?
Absolutely, yeah.
Feedback loop?
Yeah, we've got to be one of the quickest, yeah.
Yeah. I'd say that's pretty much a massive key differentiator from, a lot of the brands out there having to import in and...
Yeah, I think that's, you're beholden to whatever inventory they have at the moment, whereas we kind of have a revolving supply chain that, lands most of the material in the U.S. before it goes out. So we're at a bit of an advantage there.
There was a couple of things that we mainly focused on. One of those was what wattage were we going to be offering people? And we did some trials previously. We found that the sweet spot was that 160 range. There was definitely a yield increase and a change with the slightly different wattage difference. Of course, we talked about it on the panel. There's other, factors that are associated, into those kinds of results. And then also from a commercial standpoint, we also went with a wider gauge wire inside the fixture, which just allows you to daisy chain more of those units together. If you can potentially avoid doing more power drops, then, it's savings for the end user.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're looking at some of these larger facilities as well, like that could be the final decision maker right there.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like even using a lower wattage fixture, like 120, from what I've seen a lot of companies out there, you can only do maybe 18-ish fixtures on a power daisy chain, and we can go up to 27 fixtures. So it makes a little bit of a difference depending on the facility setup, and it could be beneficial that way.
First of all, the build factor, the form factor of the lights, they're super robust. We use a lot of aluminum. Made in Austria, and you feel like this kind of German engineering, Austrian engineering vibe, so they're super solid. Longevity is key, and the sustainability aspect. They are not only unique in the form factor, but also, I would say, in the spectrum. Our spectrum is definitely different, and we don't think that the far red down there helps that much. Just have a full round spectrum everywhere. That's what makes us, I think, the most unique.
Yeah.
All those lights.
Yeah, it's a very divisive topic right now on far red. Some manufacturers are all about it, other manufacturers are not.
A lot of people have got on the bandwagon that science started about spectrum adjustable lights. But the secret sauce that other people haven't followed as much is what we do with the optics. So not to get into a whole physics discussion here, but like the further you get away from a light source, the intensity goes down. So we have optics to take more of that light, focus it, and have it at angles. So you get better penetration around leaves by having it coming in from a lot of angles. That's how you get that middle canopy lit. That's the secret sauce that we do about how to get more light on leaf and a healthier plant overall. And that's on all of our fixtures, we have optics.
I think being an evidence-based lighting company, having our own research lab that's collecting real-time data all the way to the kilowatt hour per gram, we really see the power in modularity and customization, because I don't think it's one solution fits all, right? Because you're coming in with potentially already constraints in energy, power, heat removal, microclimate control, and all the complexities, right? So we have solutions that will go 15 watt that just give you that little bit of boost where you need it. If you're already getting 1100 ppfd 6 feet below your light, of course we have 150, 180 watt per bar solutions that will bring the in. If the top level canopy ppfd is only like 600 and 700 ppfd, we can add the balance on the bottom. What makes Sunscape different is solution, modular customization that fits to the problem that we're trying to address.
Yeah.
We were last to market because the best takes time to develop.
I like that.
We let it out with the Under-Canopy light, the ICL 300. A lot of people thought that it was 300 watts, and we lost some sales because of that, but it's 300 because it shines in 300 degrees. We spent a lot of time developing it, and what took time was the 4-channel spectrum tuning, the white diodes, the deep reds, the far red, and the UV individually.
One is that we can integrate it and run it on a standard 277 or 110 and standard power. But we can also power it with our remote power servers, where we ditch the drivers and we can eliminate those and power them remotely. And then the other thing that we've done is to look at how light is delivered to the plant, not only under canopy, but also side lighting. And so side lighting really is kind of a game changer as well, where we're now bringing photons that are more natural into the stomata of the leaf. We can look at underneath, and for those different things, the spectrums are different, and we can really target how we hit the plant and deliver the photons that the plant needs.
What do you think in 2026 you guys could, do better or improve upon?
Our strongest areas for improvement in 2026 is going to be attacking global markets. America is an amazing, amazing place for us, but just trying to expand globally.
Yeah, and it's super tough, right? With international markets, pre-grow world, that's what we're trying to solve, right? But there's not really a Silk Road to connect them all. So that's really our grand vision, is just help these countries streamline their inputs to be able to compete with that consistency, and then helping them move their outputs, right? Connecting their packs between countries.
Yeah, so Jumplights has been really successful in, high bay lighting, high output greenhouse lighting, and under canopy, but we definitely have some gaps in our portfolio when it comes to multi-tier cannabis and veg lighting. So those are two product areas that we're, have been developing and are going to launch in 2026. So putting the final touches on some of those, just kind of round out the portfolio, make sure we have something for, all stages and all customers.
One of the things we instantly realized is that we have a stand that you can't adjust. And then there's, people that they may want to change the height there. And that was one of the changes that we just made. We have the new stands over at the booth. You can come check them out. For 2026, spectrum tuning, it's not available quite yet. But yeah, that's what you should be expecting in the end of kind of first quarter 2026.
Again, talking about spectrums, the thing is with our lights and how we manufacture, we do everything in Austria. We are super fast. And if you come up to us and say, hey, I need a specific spectrum, we can build a light with that spectrum. So there we will have more options in the future for sure. Also development in control units, new dimming options, and yeah, which are then connectable to any system, basically.
There's only so much you can do about putting so many LEDs on a board or whatever, but where we've found the real benefit is trying to integrate natively into whole environmental control systems and things like that. So, agrotech we're already fully integrated with, so we're trying to expand that to many other systems things, such that your entire environment can be controlled from one place.
Okay, so more integrations in your ecosystem, that would be an area that you guys are looking to expand.
Yeah, just make it easier on people and know the interactions with things. You also want to have your environmentals synced up with that, and your lighting. So when you know all those things are happening in one integrated thing, you can address it all much better.
For almost 5 years now, we've been growing with our Under-Canopy light in our R&D facility. I think the next step of our solution needs to go is recognizing that microclimate, we are going to be dealing with a very different situation there, and our Under-Canopy light needs to come out to the market with other aspects of the consideration that improves our design, right? Okay. Such as, is it truly waterproof? As a grower for 8 years, commercial scale, you need to be pressure washing your light sometimes. Being so close to your canopy, what's true waterproof is really needs to be understood. And we pride ourselves on that. We need to kind of do our homework and provide customers with selection and choices that allows them to understand, okay, these are things that you need to consider as we change the microclimate there.
The biggest area of improvement is bringing the correct light to the plant in all areas of the plant. So not just blasting it from the top with light, blasting it underneath, but really looking at how are we delivering photons to that plant so we don't oversaturate it, but we drive the 30 to 40% higher growth. One of the things we're looking at is plants aren't always awake. They take naps. So how can we look at that with data or cameras or other things and say, hey, if the plant is taking a nap or not really uptaking, can we dim the lights down and can we minimize that? So really looking at how can we drive energy consumption while still delivering the yields.
I was going to ask you, where's your guys' pricing stacking up versus everybody else on the market?
Us being the manufacturer gives us the biggest flexibility against these other under-canopy lighting companies, right? Most of, if not all of the under-canopy lighting companies are all white labeling lights. So those profit margins are really fixed. We're sourcing and making the diodes, right? We source all of our raw material for our aluminum housing for our under-canopies. We source our stainless steel ore and all the iron that's going to go into all of our double tiers, right? So it's like we play a different global market in sourcing raw material and being able to play with a price that these other companies can't even touch, you know?
Yeah, and that's super interesting. When you are vertically integrated, you can still hit that quality, but you don't have to have the same price point, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's super competitive. I did not know you guys owned all of that.
Yeah, like the 437 nanometer diode is going to be made by GrowPros here in the next couple of years for the whole market. You're going to be growing with GrowPros diodes, whether you know our lights or you're using them or not. That's going to be the biggest thing in the next couple of years, because, the number one maker of them, Evo, is no longer around. GrowPros, once again, was able to fill the gaps in these areas.
We're definitely not the cheapest. I did mention, a lot of our products are assembled and designed in the U.S. So I think there's a differentiator there. And we also only source the best diodes in the world from Osram. So, performance is the thing that we care most about. So our price point's a little bit higher.
We're right there in terms of price point with our competitors. But again, keep in mind that we do have a generally higher wattage fixture. There are a few other options out there, but just in general, on a dollar per watt basis, we are one of the more competitive than you will find, for sure.
Here it gets a bit complicated because we have a smart driver technology. This technology is patented and it's perfect for the stick series because the stick series is super flexible. And let me give you an example. So you have a 4x4. You would need two sticks 5120 for this 4x4 plus a driver with, let's say, 400 watts. Price point $400 US for this setup. But if you then go further and add more lights, because the driver is external, the price per luminaire or per unit gets dramatically lower. So you contact us, we do the simulation for you, we talk to you how much light do you really need? Do you really need like 800 micromoles as an under-canopy? Probably not.
Yeah.
So we will just configure it to their needs, let's say 300 micromoles, and then price drops significantly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Our bill of materials is higher than others. I mean, A, because we've got the optics, and B, because you can adjust the spectrum like from one extreme to the other with the same amount of power. So you have a lot of LEDs to be able to have each string absorb that power. So that means we're a little bit more expensive, but we know from a value standpoint, we have to be price competitive with everybody else. And so, 10 to 20% more than any other light is what I see as the maximum. It doesn't matter how many features you have. It doesn't matter. No one's going to care at that level. So we have to have our pricing based off of what everybody else is, because that's just, there's no way to charge enough of a premium. Even though the ROI might be tremendous, it's just people aren't going to do it.
Yeah, you bring up a good point there. I mean, at the end of the day, are you guys showcasing that ROI difference?
We do, but it's sometimes hard to explain. So, a forum like this, and we do a little more lengthy discussion about the benefits of spectrum and optics and the physics behind it or the plant science behind it, people will start to understand, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Usually the proof's in the pudding. Like they want to see a real test, they want to test it themselves, they want to do a side-by-side, and then they get it. Because frankly, there's a lot of marketing hype out there, right? People are throwing around all kinds of claims. Prove it.
we need to really be price competitive because we've been energy rebate provider to all of our clients. Some of our clients gets hundreds of, almost $1 million of rebates now from mature large commercial markets. I really want to work with rebate company to see whether or not we can develop, right, smart lighting, controller lighting, solution measurements to establish some kind of rebate program for Under-Canopy. In the meanwhile, we need to drive the cost down.
From top lights, inner canopy lights, through the under canopy lights, we are priced now below, I believe, an MSRP or MAP, below all the other companies. So we're here to take the market.
Wow. You only want to invest in things that are going to impact your bottom line. We'll compete with anybody on price, but I think one of the other things that really comes with that is service and support. And that's an intangible that's sometimes not measured in cost because, hey, something fails, something happens. How do you get a hold of somebody? Where do you get a rebate, a warranty or service?
You guys are on it. And we heard that from your earlier interview as well with two of your customers.
You talk to any one of our customers around the world and they'll just say that the service and support is bar none.
Directing this next question to all the commercial growers out there, what's your message to them? They're thinking about buying under-canopy lighting. What do you want to tell them?
Number one is going to be stop getting white labeled. Stop going to these companies that you're paying a premium price for a low quality product. Go to a company that, is DLC listed. We have a 5-year warranty. We make all of our lights and we have flexibility to be able to take care of you guys and your grows.
Our number one message is one, we want to be involved in the trials that you're considering because we do think our product stands out and performs better than others. And two, I think that, you get what you pay for in a lot of cases.
Yeah, and are you guys also offering rebates in-house? Is that something you handle?
Yeah, we do. We have rebate partners. We also do a lot of rebate work in-house. It depends on the scenario.
Yeah, I mean, Under-Canopy was still very niche up until a short period of time. I think that there's now enough cultivators out there that have seen the results. They've seen the yield increase and do a table. See what kind of benefit that you see, what kind of yield increase that you see, and then just kind of go from there. Don't be afraid to trial other under-canopies. Like we invite competition between other under-canopies, and at the end of the day, yield is usually the factor, yield and quality. But yeah, we invite competition is what I would say.
So I definitely, safety is the biggest concern in my opinion, and really choose a light that is IP68 waterproof.
Okay.
So don't have to worry about anything. Longevity is key. It's a dirty and wet environment down there, so choose your lights wisely, that they're really also built to last and don't have to throw them away in 2 years, because sustainability is also a big point in my opinion, and choose your lights wisely.
Optics. It's the one differentiating thing. People have looked at science and as a leader in spectrum tuning, but the optics is where the real money is. By getting more light to that middle part of the canopy, instead of having a whole bunch of E and C buds or popcorn, you have more top shelf flower. And that's a really huge return on investment. Yeah. How you do it doesn't matter, whether you do it with supplemental light or whatever, but ultimately that's the goal. That's where the ROI comes from. Science has a fairly broad patent that for horticulture use, if you have an optic that is less intensity straight down than it is at angles, we're the only one that can make that. So that's why we are really the leaders of using optics.
Make a checklist of what's happening in the grow at different levels, where the microclimates are, what are the issues, what are the existing constraints that we're working with coming into your grow room. With the constraints identified, another checklist would be objectives. Right? Is it yield? Is it quality? Is it washability? I really believe there's a role for under-canopy lighting in that, solution stack. Give us a chance at customizing a solution for you that works and that delivers results.
At this day and age, the way that the pack prices are, you cannot afford to miss a beat, and you got to buy quality. We've been testing spectrum tuning longer than anybody in a rec space, commercial space, and I can tell you that if you buy ThinkGrow LEDs, whether it's top lights, inner canopy lights, you will not regret it.
Look at tech that's going to help the bottom line, especially if you're building a new facility. Look at solutions that don't have drivers. I mean, I'm going to be selfish in saying that. It's just our theme this year is just drivers are dead, and they just fail. Yes, you can buy something very cheap, but what does that come with? go with something reputable, go with somebody that's going to support you, whether that's us or somebody else that's in the market. In the long run, that's going to really make a difference to you.
Grow World, we're super big on trials and, helping our growers do a side-by-side.
Yep.
Proof is in the progress,
Yep.
right? What are some of those initial trial results that you can share with us today?
The trials have yielded really great results. Average around 30%. We've seen, growers get up to 60, and in some low light scenarios in greenhouse, 100% yield improvement. So there's definitely success stories. I think there's learning curves and things that tips and tricks to maximize, just like when growers first started converting to LEDs years ago. Like, there's ways to improve the performance of the light in the environment, and working through that early on in the trial phase I think is super important, because as you know, people can take things over and misdeploy them, or not have the right approach and get not the best results. One harvest is quite a lot of time, right, in terms of a cycle, and we want to get the best results out of each one of those. We don't really want to get to the third round of the trial before we've really seen impacts or we've done something wrong.
I'm excited to show you guys the next version of Grow World. I was showing Aaron a little bit earlier, but we have this new chat feature where you guys are going to be connected on day one.
Fantastic.
As soon as they start their trial with Jumplights, you'll be connected and able to educate and support them along the way.
I'm a big fan of the platform. I think it's a fantastic idea, and I don't expect any grower in this day and age, when margins are so tight and the market is difficult to navigate, to make these big capital decisions without having really educated ROI and understanding what the value they're getting out of anything they're buying at this point. You hand anyone just a spec sheet, and it's hard to differentiate customers on spec sheet and price and spectrum and all these different variables that are there. So being able to access the technology and test it out and see if you like working with the group, it's a business relationship that you're going to have, and you're going to need to like the way the people that you work with them, how easy they are, and that's a big piece of the puzzle too.
Yield is generally the main point that they're looking at. There are some other trials that people have done where they've seen incremental increases in terpene profiles, even a 0.2, 0.3% increases, significant enough to make decisions that way.
We see massive increases. I think it was 36% in yield, but what was also super special was with the spectrum changed the whole appearance of the plant, and on top you had those HPS kind of structure, and down there you had more LED, more coloring. That was super interesting. And now we're also playing around with the intensities and especially also the ratio, top light, under canopy. We will get the test results, I think, in January. And if you want to trial our lights, give us send us a message, and we'll
get your lights for trial on Grow World after this.
For sure.
Yeah, we have growers all over the world, especially in the European markets.
Yeah.
So I think that could be a great fit for you guys.
I don't want to just throw out a bunch of numbers, because it might have been accurate for one person, but not necessarily for the next person. So as you suggest, that the trial, the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah.
The return of adding better airflow or better lighting is a function of how screwed up it was the first time. So everybody will get a different result based on what their starting point was. Take some real measurements, real scientific data, to make some changes, and measure it again in your environment. That's the only one that matters.
We calculate down to kilowatt per gram. Our latest energy efficiency just on top lighting this summer, verified by Energy Trust in Oregon, we were able to run 10 of our 750 watt lights in a grow room with 1.5 tons of HVAC. That was a game changer for us. So if you're able to get 10 lights of 4x4, HVAC with our modular water cooling, reducing the heat HVAC consumption down to 1.5 tons, and then directing all the energy towards smart dehumidification with that such a low energy footprint. And we are now seeing the opportunity to introduce Under-Canopy light into that next experiment to see how much more we can get out of it. So that's been incredible for us, to tell you the truth. I mean, adding a water cooling module to our standard product as an option. It's not required, but it's an option. And we just run standard faucet water. We're able to further cool our Sunscape LED lights, Solo Pro series, by another 38% heat load. And then, by the way, the rebates are paying for it. So we are a lighting company that's dipping into the HVAC
Right.
rebates pool. We're starting to line up some of the big partners to help us really get our names out there. And I really hope that 2026 we get to see more of each other.
Yeah. No, we most definitely will. We'll be sampling your lights on our platform here shortly.
All our lights operate on a digital 24-volt signal, not 0 10 volt like all the other lighting companies. And now what does that mean? That means that you can, with a LMAT, you can run over 100 lights. All these other lighting companies, they work on 0 10 volts, so you need an LMA 14 to run about 20 lights. So every 20 or so lights, you need another LMAT, and on long tables, you need several of those. Another thing that we have for side-by-sides is we have an LMAG, which stands for group adapter. We can actually spectrum tune our lights per row, top different to lower, intensity, or any spectrum recipe.
We've seen incredible results. We have some customers hitting 50% increase in wet weight.
Wow.
Dry, 20, 30, 35%. But it comes down to you have to approach things differently. You're going to have higher transpiration. You're going to need more nutrient uptake. Maybe also defoliate a little bit less so they can allow the plants to really thrive underneath. You get better airflow. And it's just been incredible to see the increases of yields at very fractional increases in cost. And I mean, you're paying for it in one cycle. You can pay for that.
Yeah, I keep hearing that. You before and after installing under-canopy lights at your facility, you're seeing that increase and you're able to pay it off within one run. That's pretty incredible. There's not a whole lot of products out there that can, say that.
No, and in today's extremely competitive market, it's huge. But there are asterisks with that. As I said, you have to have you're going to have higher need for dehumidification or transpiration, higher feeding. So every facility will be dependent, and it's still important to grow good quality. It's just an increase in growth for sure. But it's incredible, and in today's market, it's the quickest path to really gaining an increase in revenue very quickly.
Yeah, it's a must-have for 2026. You heard it here first, or maybe you've heard it before, but under-canopy lighting, you have to have it in your facility. Looking to 2026, do you have any new lighting models or maybe some technical specs that you can share with us today?
Yeah, I think the number one thing to talk about is we have the Chameleon light that's dropping. It's going to be a 4-channel overhead light. We just broke down the spectrum categories into 5 different spectrum categories. So instead of talking about 395 nanometer, 437, 660, all these things that become very hard for the average consumer to understand, we broke it down into 5 easy to understand categories: UV, blue, white, deep red, and far red. Then learning and understanding the photobiology impacts of each one of those spectrum ranges and how it affects the cannabis plant is going to give you the framework to be able to build your spectral crop steering recipes. And that's the next 5 years of cannabis innovation. So we love to take care of you guys. We're not just one-offing you, and we like to take care of your whole grow.
We've actually just launched Catalyst Pro, which is our newest version, our Gen 2. New lens, new scallop lens, some new fittings, just making sure that it's extra waterproof. The other things we have are a mobile and a what we're calling our greenhouse. It's a 480 volt. We run high voltage to a remote driver and then run DC lower voltage, because running 480 down by people is dangerous. It's extremely hazardous in terms of water and potential people getting electrocuted, and so we have developed some ways of bringing that into the greenhouse or the indoor space, but keeping it away from the people.
If you are looking to trial Under-Canopy, we generally only have a few hundred units available before they actually land. So, get in there as soon as you can just to get on the list. It's
free signups on Grow World. Get in there. They are, as soon as they land, they're sold out. Really hard to get right now.
Yeah, no, 100%. And then just regarding trials in general, we have a few more top light options. We're gonna have a brand new clone light option, 50 watts, dimmable. So a market that I think is maybe undersupplied. So I think there should be some interesting push kind of in that area. And having the dimmability, flexibility. There's just really not enough options out there right now. And we are also going to be offering a high bay top light, which will be similar to like a HPS replacement fixture.
Right.
Yeah.
We are not only working on lighting, but also on HVAC systems, and there's something pretty big is coming for the German market. First of all, we have our plug-and-play grow solutions for the clubs, and we are working on a small-scale water-cooled HVAC system. This will be a game changer in terms of environmental control, but also efficiency.
A sister company, so common ownership, me. And it's a really elegant solution for addressing microclimate. So, people have seen duct socks or the VAS system or other things, but all those, what they all have in common is they take up extra space in the grow somewhere, and it's more to clean or whatever. So what Dual Draft does is use the tray itself as the duct. The fan is inside the tray itself, nothing hanging out anywhere else. So you get this nice vertical air coming up from under the canopy, flushing all that warm and humid air out of the canopy and addressing microclimates, which are particularly pronounced when you're doing multi-tier. I mean, it's a problem in single tier, but it's really bad in multi-tier. So no one should have a multi-tier without having dual draft. Our newest toy, the Dragon Alpha 3, replaced the Alpha 2. It's our high bay or greenhouse light. Okay. And getting to the customer support thing about this, one thing we found by looking at our own data and talking to other lighting vendors is the vast majority of issues that people have with lights is driver failures. And it's usually why they break. In the Alpha 3 setup, the light head itself, which literally the boards never go bad, so that's bulletproof. The driver is no longer inside that case, it's separate, which also means you can mount it a little differently. If you want to, you can do some different configurations with it. And so if anything were to go wrong, still a waterproof connection, about 30 seconds. Detach it, take a spare off the shelf, put it there. You don't have to take the fixture down. The light's back up and running in 5 minutes or less. And then, just send the driver back for warranty coverage. So much more uptime and less hassle. I think that's a model going forward. And we're going to implement that design feature across our whole product line over the next year.
If you're not doing tuning of your far red is not, it's not going to do anything for you other than weird things to your plants that you've never seen before. So we are introducing far red into one of our orange channels that would be separately tunable from our deep red. As a lighting company, Grow Sciences company, we're transitioning into sensors. Sensors of today is not meeting the requirements of really extreme growers, right? People that are crop steering, driving ECs down up to 8, 10, and your volumetric sensor is going to support that. So we're looking forward to transitioning into more of a data sciences company, I think, more and more, with technology, hardware that we offer, but really helping growers to really capture the process of data collection, research, and then how to collect that data, how do you evaluate that data, how do you manage data. If we can get proper sensors, proper data organization, proper information fed into that world, and proper understanding of existing science, and every hardworking grower, it can become a research scientist. And I'm very proud that we've been in the industry for 10 years. 2019-18, we introduced our version 1 into some large facilities in Sacramento. 0.1% failure rate, 100% customer retention. We don't have one single customer that has tried a different LED after they used ours for the past 8 years. That's the customer experience I want, right? I want to invest into their success. We're just getting started, guys.
We have some innovations, but at this point, I would not like to let the cat out of the bag. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. I was told not to, so I'm gonna hold on to that. There are some new innovations that are coming up in 2026.
We're very focused on side lighting. We also running trials through Grow World on that, looking at side lighting, under canopy lighting. But really, what we're bringing forward is trying to really optimize and consider the right amount of energy. So, how much PPFD and light do you need at the top, the side, and the bottom, and how can you holistically bring that together so that you're encircling the plant with 360 degrees light to maximize the growth of that plant?